A few months ago, we purchased a GoPro Hero 7 Black based on some recommendations of the hyper smooth 4K video that it can provide. Now, we're naturally skeptical of almost any marketing language, but it had been out for about 6 months and it had already left a favorable impression on a lot of people. Nevertheless, we don't judge something until we have it in our own hands and try it for ourselves. Leigh has mentioned to you all that one of our initiatives on the channel this year is better B-roll. For what we do, you want a small camera that you can take out, get the shot or the footage, and put it away. Or put it on a bike or on top of a car and fire and forget and review the footage later on. Our larger cameras just aren't as nimble or durable as an action camera, and we wanted a single B-roll camera that would be at home, in the hand, on a mount, or even underwater. Let's take a closer look. The size and form factor is basically the industry standard at this point, established by GoPro themselves, so there's no surprises there. We started with the Hero 7 Black in the cold winter at Yellowstone National Park. With the durability of the Hero 7 Black, we weren't concerned about weather. It's waterproof down to 10 meters without any sort of additional case needed for that depth. We found ourselves using it like this and stowing it upside down in a pocket or a backpack. Now, this little tripod is not part of the Hero 7 package itself, but we'll put a link down to this in the description as well, because I feel that they pair very well together. Now, the main attractions for this camera, in my opinion, are twofold. One, without question, this is the highest quality video I've seen from an action camera of any kind. I don't just mean that it's 4K and 60 frames per second. What I mean is that beyond the mathematical specifications, the quality is crisp, clear, and colorful. You just turn it on or use the quick start mode to just press the top button and you're getting video right away. You don't need to go in and make adjustments just to get your footage. There certainly are configuration options to choose from, but we found it best and easiest just to hit the button and start getting your footage. Number two, and this is huge, the stabilization in the Hero 7 Black is magical. I don't take that term lightly, and no one is telling us what to say here. It's electronic stabilization, which frankly had me concerned at first. We have been using gimbals and tripods for stabilized B-roll, and we've leaned on Final Cut Pro's adequate stabilization when needed. The Hero 7 Black stabilization, though, has no equal as far as I'm concerned. We used it handheld, we used it on vehicles and on handlebars, and it's amazing. In this vehicle footage, look down at the front of the car as a reference point, and you see how it's moving around, and the view of the road is stable. Well, the hood of the car is actually what the camera's doing, because the car and the hood are moving in tandem, but the camera sees the road, predicts the motion, and knows how to make it all look right. With a standard action camera, the road would be jumping around. Now, next I mounted it to my mountain bike handlebars. This is about the worst place that you can put an action camera on your bike, on a mountain bike especially, because of the bar movement and vibration. A lot of mountain bikers use a helmet or chest mount, but let's make this as challenging as possible. And wow, I'm no great mountain biker, and you can see me almost wipe out here in the footage, but the stabilization shows me moving along very smoothly, much more smoothly than I actually was. And it's also biking footage that I can watch without getting nauseous, which has never happened to me before. Usually I can only look at it for a couple seconds. The materials say that the camera will truly predict the movement and adjust accordingly. I believe it. It really does seem to deliver in ways far beyond what we expected for stabilization, and for most of our purposes, it really hasn't replaced us bringing our gimbals out in the field. Now, it's not exactly like a gimbal because it won't automatically level your footage with the horizon. So if you're vlogging with it or running around with it, you need to keep it level as possible. You can be a bit more fast and loose with a gimbal and move it around and it'll keep that horizon level. This won't. But with that in mind, you really can leave the gimbal at home. We've also found that not having the gimbal and just having this little setup gives us a lot more flexibility and lets us be a little more impulsive. It's easy to forget that the Hero 7 will also give you 12 megapixel stills. I didn't do a lot of stills with it. It's not our primary purpose for this camera, but I did run around with it taking still images and it did the job perfectly fine. Overall, there's really a lot to like with the Hero 7 Black for action and for almost any situation where we're shooting video out in the field, especially that B-roll. Surprisingly, the audio is very good.
So I purchased the 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8 S lens for the Z series, and it got delayed, and it was supposed to be delivered, well, First, it was supposed to be delivered last week. Nope.
It's not like using a high quality shotgun or lavalier mic, but for capturing sounds in our videos of the action, it's a completely adequate solution. I'll call it that. I'll call it adequate. We don't expect to lean on it all the time for audio, but when we're out in the field, if we're vlogging or if we're capturing action with the environmental audio, it's perfectly fine. Since we have purchased it, its footage has worked its way into virtually all of our videos as B-roll. Sometimes as A-roll. It's handy and it just delivers on a few different levels. We'll put a link down in the description where you can see the current pricing, read the reviews, and learn more. It's an Amazon link. As always, your Amazon clicks and purchases help keep our channel going because we're Amazon affiliates. Thanks, everybody. Let us know what questions you have down in the comments, or if you use the Hero 7 Black or one of the other Hero 7 models, or something different for your action and for your B-roll.